Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, that song gets better every time I listen to it.
Yeah, I've never heard it before. That's pretty good.
Same exact thing.
Good morning to everyone already in the chat. Robin, shout out some of our faithful. Renee, of course, is first. That's amazing. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, once again, man, shout out to everybody that continues to come through. You guys know we are back with another Sunday Live. It's my man A.O. Waste, the video footage. It's my man Nick, NNB Sports. You know I'm in the house. Shout out to Michael Knight, Renee 43, the Jesse Gas Saget, Top Dog, Ghetto Pranks, Import, Willie Williams, Coco Hart, Mr. Hater Stevie, TG. Thank you very much to all you guys, man.
Fantastic. Love to see people in the chat. Nick, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I missed a couple of weeks. I'm back, ready to talk some NBA. Glad to be here as always.
Yeah. Nick, are you a father?
I am a father.
Oh. Well, yeah. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Let's celebrate everyone doing the last thing that the planet needed, reproducing. Good job, everyone.
Yeah, for real, man. Shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Shout out to my father, man. Like I always tell you guys on my channel, man. The best man that I know is my father, man. Shout out to him for always being there for me and my family, man. Shout out to all you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, as people filter in, we were having a live conversation about Dart. I was asking Nick to get us up to speed. And I said, a lot of people want to know the answer to this, so we'll just wait and let people hear it. So go ahead. Where just give us...
So Dart unexpectedly got his channel taken down. From what I understand, he was making like some WWE wrestling clips with like people's faces imposed over it. And he didn't actually get taken down for copyright. He got taken down for bullying and harassment, right? Apparently, like if you show wrestlers doing, quote unquote violent acts or physical acts to each other of, what is considered violence, punching, whatever, someone could flag it.
Wrestlers being violent is the problem.
Yeah. So they consider that because you put someone's face on it, you are like making a threat of violence against that person, right? Which is, of course, completely stupid. Like it's the dumbest thing ever. Like we all feel horrible for Dart that he got his channel taken down. It's total bullshit. But the update is apparently he knows someone, or he's currently in talks with someone who might, have an inside track on these things at YouTube. I don't know who it is or how he did it. So hopefully he will be able to get his channel back through those means. But other than that, yeah, he started a new channel where he's kind of doing debates and stuff. Look, he doesn't want to redo the whole thing if he doesn't have to, right? If he can just get his channel back, he doesn't want to have to re-upload, years worth of content. So if you guys want to go sub to that channel, I think it's essentially titled the exact same thing. You'll probably be able to find it. And hopefully he'll get his other channel back, and then I guess he'll just have a backup channel or something.
Okay. Well, I was letting you say it because the way he described the threats YouTube gave him, I wasn't sure he even wanted to let people know.
Well, we talked about, I'm not saying any more than what he said on the stream yesterday. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's just, it's just stupid algorithm stuff, or someone might have, maybe there are some bad actors out there who like flagged his channel or, did whatever to make that happen. I don't know.
Yeah, that's messed up, man, because, shout out to Dart, man, and all you guys out there that support Dart and that's been around, supporting these live streams, because let's not forget, man, it was Dart who networked this from the beginning. It was Dart who was one of the first guy that I actually hooked up with here on YouTube that allowed me onto his platform, that interviewed me, who started these Sunday Lives. I met Nick this way, a lot of guys, Rex. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff since I met Dart, man. So shout out to him. If you guys want to support him, like Nick just said, he did start another channel. Michael Jordan fans are the best, I believe, with an exclamation point at the end of it. So shout out to him and all you guys that have been supporting him. You go back and sub to his channel, but it's just really sad. Like Nick was saying, if he can't, get back some of the videos and some of that stuff, because, like I said, not just for him, but for all of us, because we all were in on a lot of this stuff that he had on his channel, on that platform, the work that we put in also, man. So like I said, man, it's too bad and really unfortunate. And everyone that knows Dart knows this dude ain't about violence. He ain't about bullying people on YouTube, man. That's not what he's about, man. If anyone should be shutting down for violence, man, I'm the one who's always up here yelling and going crazy and carrying on, man. So shout out to Dart, man.
Yeah, Michael Jordan fans are the best! Exclamation point. If you want to go look it up and sub. I don't think he wanted us to put it out because I think he was hoping he gets his other channel back first, and we don't have to go through this whole thing. But I guess cat's out of the bag, right? Like people are noticing, right? So that's the explanation. And if you want to go find his other channel, it's Michael Jordan fans are the best! Exclamation point is the name, but the handle is actually at Michael Jordan fans reborn. So if you want to look those things up.
All right. All right. Well, good luck, Dart. Glad he's not completely buried. Well, I'm going to start with an apology. Apparently, the Pacers can only win if they're behind. And in game 3, when I saw that they were within striking distance, I actually messaged Scap and I said, Pacers are going to win. And I was like, if they're anywhere close going into the 4th, they're going to win. And I thought I could be confident about that. And this most recent game, problem is that they were leading. I guess that's the problem. Hey, and the reffing. We'll get to the reffing. I know a lot of people don't like to blame the refs.
I mean, listen. I mean, that's an interesting thing that you bring up, AOH. The confidence level that you have in Indiana in those scenarios, and they've earned that reputation. So you felt that way about them.
That's why I like them.
I think about with the Oklahoma City Thunder that I think that they're going through right now. That I wanted to talk about a little bit as we go through this show. Is what it really means and the pressure that's on you when you're the favorite to win something. When everyone assumes, oh, you're 68 wins. Oh, these guys are this great. This is the greatest team that we've seen since this team. Remember, Scap kept talking about all these numbers that Oklahoma City put up. That was historic. And I always laugh about this stuff because the numbers don't always tell the whole story. And you can't compare the numbers to the other eras. It's not the same. We understand that. But what OKC is dealing right now, the pressure, there's a lot of pressure on you when you're the favorite. It ain't easy to be the favorite because people are expecting you to win. You think that makes it easier for you to win? No, it doesn't. And the Indiana Pacers are a very good team. They're a scrappy team. They don't give up. That's the problem with a team like this. They don't stop playing. So you never get them in a scenario where you're like, oh, we got them down 15, 20 points. We can ease up. No, they're just going to keep coming after you. It don't matter. There's 1 minute left and they're down by 15. There's 3 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is. And Oklahoma State dealing with all this pressure, being the favorite, is not easy.
Yeah, it takes me back to the 06 Mavs. I hate to bring that up, but that was probably the best regular season team. Maybe the year after that, they had the
07 was good too.
Yeah, that they got out in the first round. But again, another example, right? Like just closing out is not as hard as you think when you're there is another team on the other side that is clawing to just stay alive, and they are desperate. And although sometimes that might work against them, they get a little out of control and over themselves, that can also lead to some great momentum swings with teams like that, right? And you have to put your boot on the neck when you can and just never let them up. And I think OKC is learning those lessons.
That fight, not giving up, just thinking that there is hope and maybe it'll work out, seems rare to me in the NBA, which is why Pacers won me over. Like I didn't start the year rooting for the Pacers, but I was like, wow, these guys are well coached. They have the right attitude and they're rewarded with their effort by sticking in there. And the other team starts being stupid and they pay the consequences. So anyway, that's why the Pacers won me over. And so this most recent game was pretty disappointing, actually, since they had won me over. And Robin, you bring up, I think you did a rant partially about what you just said about being favored versus not being favored. And these clowns that think that it's actually argument against Jordan that he was favored going into the finals and LeBron wasn't. Well, you dipshits. Look, Michael is the reason they were favored. LeBron, I'm guessing, is the reason that they weren't favored because they saw him wet the bed for 3 fucking years in a row going up into 2012. Why would you put your money on that?
Yeah.
It's funny always. Anytime I hear people bring up, and you know why I ranted in that recent video is because in that segment with it was like Breakfast Ball or something like that with Carton and that guy Danny Parkins. He tried to slide in. Oh, LeBron James wasn't the favorite, but won final with the Mavericks. He slid that in there when Carton was going on his thing about how many finals he lost. And they do that a lot. They try to slide in. He wasn't the quote-unquote favorite. And I always think about my high school teams. When I played high school sports, I played baseball, basketball, and football in high school. We weren't good in basketball or football. We weren't good at all in football. I mean, we were bad in football and we were bad in basketball. So we were one of those schools that teams would come in and they would love to play us. They see our team on the schedule. Oh, we're playing against Clarkstown North. Here comes a beat down. It's a stat game for the other high schools. They know that they're going to beat us because we're not really that good. So what does that do? It puts more pressure on them to beat us because we're playing with no pressure. We're not supposed to win the game. So if we beat them, they get embarrassed. They're the ones that don't want to lose to the lowly team in high school, the lowly neighborhood team. So once again, when you think about the Chicago Bulls and you bring that up, AOH, the pressure that was on the Bulls, not only did they win one championship, they won 2 in a row. Wait, no, they won 3 in a row. So think about the pressure every single season, essentially in the 90s, the Bulls were playing as a defending champion. Pressure every single night, every single game, every arena you go in. You're getting the best shot of even the crappy teams are coming at you with everything. I always talk about how Michael Jordan got the best out of his opponents. It didn't matter what name was on the back of the jersey because they knew that Michael Jordan was coming. So it didn't matter if it was Dennis Rodman or if it was Jeff Hornacek. Them dudes was coming to compete. Vernon Maxwell, I remember him saying the night before Michael Jordan came into town, I made sure I got my sleep. I tried to get sleep. Sometimes these guys couldn't even sleep thinking about having to go against Michael Jordan, man. He brought out the best in his opponents.
Go ahead, AOH.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Nick. I thought you were going to jump on that. You know, it made me think about, I've tried to explain over the years why I rooted against Jordan because there wasn't really anything to dislike. And I realized I've always kind of rooted for the underdog. And in the second three-peat, I definitely saw the other teams as the underdog. I don't know if that was so true the first three-peat, but, you know, by the second three-peat, you're like, okay, this is Michael Jordan. And if your team has him, and it's a close game, then your team has the advantage. But I've always been an underdog guy, and I guess that explains the Pacers thing too. And listen, LeBron James's super teams being underdogs is complete horseshit. We all knew it was unfair and crazy stacked in their favor, and then to call them underdogs, that's just another way of rewriting history. I'm sorry. That's crazy. But hey, 2012 had a big 4, right, Robin? The 2012 Celtics.
And even if they mean like an underdog in terms of even a betting sentiment, like the odds could have been much more than a coin flip, right? Those years versus them and the Spurs. Like it was not, when they say underdog, I think they're taking a lot of advantage of that term more than what it actually was.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I'm sorry, Elway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you think about when you guys were talking about the underdogs and all this stuff, man, the one thing that the LeBron James fans never want to come to reality with is if you go back and you look at all those years that LeBron James went to the finals and stuff, his team was literally the favorite, the preseason #1 favorite, essentially every single year. 2011, they were the preseason favorite to win a championship. 2012, 2013, 2014, the Miami Heat were the preseason favorite to win a championship. And then when he went to the Cavaliers, they were the preseason favorite to win a championship in 15. Even in 16, when the Warriors won the championship, the next year, the Cavs were still the favorite. And why were the Cavs the favorite going into that season? Because everyone was saying, oh, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love got hurt. That's the only reason why they lost. So now they're the favorite once again, even though the Warriors already beat them and were the defending champs. They were not even the favorites going into that next season, man.
How can people that don't get recognized in history with LeBron's successes, you know how LeBron fans are crazy enough to dismiss Kyrie and Kevin Love. How do you turn around and say that those guys being missing is also the reason that LeBron didn't win? Are you crediting them or are you not crediting them?
Yeah,
I want to give some love to our first super chat of the day. Let's get those super chats rolling in today for the panel. Lightspeed says, any chance LeBron is wishing Delonte West a happy stepfather's day? That's cold. That's AOH, thanks for suggesting Gary 828 videos. Bloody good. Yeah, I watched the one, and he spent a lot of time on the 2012 finals, which I've been revisiting. Is that the same guy that Scap is using as his moderator? Because they both have nails on the chalkboard voice, unfortunately. But other than that, it's good stuff.
Yeah, he does. That guy did some good. He said You did a video that I was watching this morning about the lack of calls for LeBron James. You included some of self-research NBA facts, my man Jim, some of his stuff, and you included some of the Michael Jordan video footage from the Eastern Conference Finals. If you think about what that guy Gary 88 Sports or 82, I'm no, I'm messing his name up. I'm sorry. But the video footage that he included from the 2012 Finals, that's right in line with what you were talking about. This man blatantly not getting any calls against him. But that one call, he fouled Kevin Durant twice, but then also fouled Russell Westbrook on the rebound, all in one play. And there was no whistles, and the referee was literally standing right in front of the play. So you can't say, oh, the referee might have had a bad angle. You know, it was a bang, bang play. The dude is literally standing right there next to the whole play and didn't make a whistle for three fouls, in one play.
I featured that in a video 2 years ago after LeBron had his tantrum against the Celtics. And I showed a bunch of examples over the years of people in the playoffs getting fouled and reacting less dramatically than LeBron did in the regular season. And I included that I think he fouled Kevin Durant 3 times. 3 times. He started up here and ended down here. And then you're right, on the rebound also. And this is at the end of a game. And listen, OKC wins that game and the momentum shift. Like people are like, oh, well, they had plenty of other chances to win. People, do you really not appreciate momentum and momentum shift and confidence building versus having your heart ripped out of your chest?
And they were 22 years old.
Matters. Huh?
They were 22 years old, these guys.
Yeah, they were children. And they were favored, apparently. That might be the most absurd one that they claim LeBron to have been an underdog.
Because he's a loser. They thought he was going to do the same thing in 2011.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. No.
And King Speech says, I thought Phoenix would win in 93. Yeah, I mean, that was a hell of a team. And of course, LeBron fans just say, oh, Jordan didn't go against anyone. Sorry. That team was crazy. Do you guys remember? Like, what are your feelings looking back at 93?
I think Phoenix had 3 All-Stars that year on that team. That was an incredible team.
They scored the same amount of points in the finals. I believe it was 640 points each. Think about that. They scored the same amount of points in the finals. The Phoenix Suns were the #1 offense in the NBA that season. Remember, Charles Barkley and everyone in the NBA was what? Saying the Phoenix Suns were the team of destiny. It was their time to win. Charles Barkley himself said, God wants us to win. Remember, everybody was laughing about that? Everyone was hyping up the Phoenix Suns. They had home court advantage. Do people forget these things? I think people forget this stuff. Remember, this is coming on the heels in 93 when the Bulls had lost a lot of their guys on the bench. They had lost Craig Hodges, Cliff Livingston. The Bulls were a lot thinner that season. That's why they won less games. Remember, they won 57 games in 93. The thing about it was Michael Jordan was at the peak of Michael Jordan-ness in 93. That's why it was crazy when he walked away. Think about it. He was literally at the top of the mountain in 93. Michael Jordan was insane. There were people saying that he could have won Defensive Player of the Year in 1993. What he did in that finals, if they scored the same amount of points, that means that if Michael Jordan averaged 37 points a game in those finals, they probably lose that finals then. They needed every bit of those 41 points a game, man.
Wow, that's great. That was a great rant. King Speech says Tom Chambers was the 8th man. That's how loaded that Phoenix team was. Yeah, but he was just an unathletic white guy. So, let's dismiss Tom Chambers.
I think he was the first unrestricted free agent also, by the way. Fun fact.
We got to do an entire video breaking down that Tom Chambers dunk because that's weird. It's just unnatural.
Well, he kind of gets on, was it Mark Jackson? He kind of gets on.
That's not enough. That's exactly why we have to debate it because that's not enough to explain it. It's just
Tom Chambers, probably the most underrated in-game dunker, I think. Tom Chambers for real, man. Tom Chambers, get up, man. I've talked about Tom Chambers many, many times on my channel. Anyone that knows my channel knows I've mentioned Tom Chambers many, many times because Tom Chambers, to me, is one of those guys that's a borderline Hall of Famer. If you think about his overall career and what he did at that position, he was one of those first guys that could step out that size and knock the jumpers down. And like you mentioned, Nick, he could take it to the rack on you.
Yeah. Another super chat from James Crute. Thank you. SGA is little LeBron with a question mark, flopping on drives, the future. Yeah, I put out a short. I was like, he's just a skinny brawn. Like he offensive foul followed by traveling, and then you get the bucket. I guess what the defense is going to be like, well, everyone does that now. Well, what do we always say on here? How about having a standard instead of lowering the standards? How about some accountability? How about some consistency? I don't know.
Yeah. He's a bit of a foul merchant.
It doesn't make me listen. I could have liked him. Like there's things about him that are likable, but that's very unlikable. Can we just get rid of that?
I guess I'll say quickly, he gets a little bit of a pass too. He's a point guard, right? So like I think people sometimes being a little guy in the trees, right? You're like, all right, like if you got to sell it a little bit, it's a little more forgiving than a guy who's 6'9", 250, who could play tight end or something, or is built like a tight end from the NFL and shit. And as soon as he gets touched, he's just like, and like his head.
No, that's a good point, Nick.
I think, a little bit of a difference. But yes, I agree with you, though. I agree with you.
All right. We can always, when it comes to LeBron James, the standard is super low because you have an absolute giant of a man using illegal moves on smaller people. So clearly that's worse than SGA, but that doesn't excuse SGA. Robin?
No, come on, man. Let's be honest here. Let's be real. We've seen some of the outfits that SGA wears to the game.
That's a totally different topic.
He looks soft. Let's just be real. He looks soft. Does anyone think that SGA a tough guy or he comes across as like a warrior or something like that? And I'm not saying he's not tough. I'm just saying, you play that way, I get it.
I know I've brought this up too many times, like it's getting creepy, but that billboard of him with his bedroom eyes outside my hotel window still bothers me. And fuck you, San Francisco, for having a billboard of anyone up other than Steph Curry.
Word.
Which brings us to Top Dog with a super chat who mentions Steph Curry. Perfect segue. Thoughts on this take? Curry is closer to Jordan than LeBron ever was. Yes. I mean, I don't have to finish this. Clearly, every young person for the last 10 years has wanted to be like Steph. And before everybody trashes Steph for the 3-point shooting, ruining the game, Steph has a bag. If anyone has a bag, Steph Curry has a bag. I remember Chris Paul falling the fuck down because of Steph Curry's bag. Okay. Steph Curry can drive. Steph Curry can finish at the rim. Steph Curry can dish. Steph Curry has floaters, and he's got the just unexplainable 3-pointer. He's got all of that. And he's what, 6'1", 6'2"?
Nick, we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was saying, definitely an underrated floater. I think his floater is one of the better ones we've seen. I remember Tony Parker.
Yep.
It seemed like he couldn't miss within 15 feet once he got running. His is very good as well.
Yeah, Nick, man, great mention, Tony Parker. Tony Parker, I mentioned Tony Parker in a video I just did with the point guards because Stephen A. Smith was talking some nonsense. But I remember when Tony Parker was playing in the 2000s, you couldn't keep him out the paint. He always finished like in the top 3, top 5 in points in the paint. Always. He was up there with the top guys, man. Because like Nick said, once he got in the paint, he was going to score it. His layup package was insane. Like Steph Curry's. Steph Curry's layup package is insane, man. The way that he could use the glass, similar to someone like Kyrie Irving, the way that these guys could use, like you said, they're under the rim finishers, not above the rim, under the rim guys. And like you said, Steph Curry can hit you with all kinds of different angles. He don't need to dribble the ball a bunch of times. He could come off screens, the catch and shoots. He does all kinds of things. We all understand what Steph Curry does, the greatness of Steph Curry. The thing about him being closer to Michael Jordan is like they said in the comment, it's about people wanting to be like Steph Curry, but not also that. Steph Curry's respected, man. People respect Steph Curry. They respect his career. They respect the way he's went about it, the way that he carries himself out there. He doesn't double speak. He don't tweet things and then delete them all the time. He's not over here talking trash. You know what I'm saying? Just flopping around like a clown. So much respect to Steph Curry.
Jesse Glad Saget, good to see you here. Long-time supporter. LeBrick, thank you for the super chat. LeBrick being an underdog is based on his own history of failure. There's a 0% chance they're an underdog in 2012 if LeBrick doesn't choke in 2011. Yeah, this is pretty much the conclusion I came to. I wonder if anyone in the chat has any other thoughts on that. I mean, that's got to be the number one reason, doesn't it? It's not like okay, first of all, OKC was crazy young, unproven, barely got there past the Spurs. And a lot of people think that that was set up by the league. I don't know enough about it. I'd have to watch the entire series, and I still wouldn't be able to come to a conclusion. But the Heatles, who should have won 8 championships, come back, add experience with Shane Battier, and are underdogs?
Yeah, so I was trying to look up some historical data, and it's kind of what I'm saying. Like, when they say underdog, they're taking a lot of liberties with that saying, where it's like, oh, the OKC was like a minus 120 favorite, and the Heat was like a plus 110. For those who don't know, in betting terms, though, that's essentially like a coin flip, right? Yes, there's a favorite because one team technically has to be a favorite, but it's not a lot, right? And so I think they're taking a lot of privilege with that term. Never at any point were any of his teams like, some kind of plus 200 underdog, like a significant underdog.
Absolutely, Nick. Great point. Once again, Nick doing the info.
You're getting in my world. The betting world is more like my world in terms of what I think they're trying to say. I think they're trying to take advantage of it.
I mean, listen, this is what happened. I'm going to break this down for the LeBron James fans out there. I think we have a LeBron James fans in the comment section. I thought I saw some clown out there. I've been trying to ignore you guys. I've been letting my people out there take care of you guys because my people, they know what to do. But I'm going to break this down for the reason why, like Nick was saying, why maybe the LeBron James teams might have been the underdog more often than not. I'm going to let you guys understand why. I'm going to break it down. So listen clearly here, because I've broken this down before. When we talk about the preseason odds, and I'm telling you, all of those years, LeBron James teams are the favorites going in. They're the favorites going into the season. There's no denying this. They'll go every year. The reason why maybe they weren't the favorites going into the finals is what people are trying to say, is because of the underachieving of LeBron James teams during the regular season. So what am I talking about? If you look at the teams that LeBron James played for and what they're expected to do, they're expected to win a certain amount of games going into the season, maybe 55, 57, 58, whatever it is. They often don't win those games. They win less than what they're expected to win. So they underachieve during the regular season, and people lose confidence in them. The betting public loses confidence going into the finals because LeBron James teams are inconsistent. You can't really put your finger on them. And LeBron James himself has come up small more often than not. So you think that Vegas is going to put their odds on LeBron James? No, they expect him to fold up. Think about why Michael Jordan would be the favorite more often, because he wasn't always the favorite like they try to claim. But more often than not, they were. Why is that? Who the hell's betting against Michael Jordan?
Cameron Peterson said that there's no room for flopping no matter what. And I agree. I don't care what your weight is. Just play the game correctly. Don't try to manipulate the refs. And Roger Hurt with the super chat. Thank you. The only things in LeBron's bag are Balco, athletic wrap, brace for his next fake injury, and KY jelly for his Diddy party. Ouch. I added to that in one of my rants, his insecurity. He's carrying around a heavy load of insecurity in that bag.
Yeah, I did want to bring this up, maybe a little change of topic. Have y'all liked the physicality of this NBA Finals? I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I'm not saying it has to be like 90s physicality, but it does seem to be a much more grinded out, gritty NBA Finals than I can kind of remember in more recent history.
Yeah, and LeBron complimented that or complained about that, because he couldn't really tell when he just starts opening his mouth on his mind the game. But yeah, we did a whole thing talking about LeBron saying it goes from 0 to 100 and they need, time to transition into this. Well, if you were still in it, we wouldn't have transitioned at all, because they still wouldn't be allowed to be physical against you. So thank you for getting eliminated in the first round so that we could watch some physical playoffs. And
No, Nick, you're right. Yo, Nick, you're bringing the heat today, Nick. All right, you woke up today, Nick. I like it, man. You're getting in there. You're contributing to the live. My man, Nick. I love it. No, you're absolutely right. I remember I did a video on the first round series between the Boston Celtics and the Orlando Magic. And what did I do a video on? I did a video on Jaylen Brown complaining, right, about the physicality of the Orlando Magic. He was actually complaining about them being allowed to be
I remember that.
too physical, he said.
I remember
He said,
that.
this is not basketball. And I laughed at him. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be one of the premier players in the league. You guys are always trying to talk about the bigger, stronger athletes. You guys are this skilled, this and that. What, you want to be compared to the guys of the past? Well, that was not, like you said, Nick, that was almost 90s style basketball when I was watching. I watched some of those games. I think it was at the first 2 games or something like that I watched. He started complaining. I think it was after the second game or the first game. I can't remember which game it was. It might have been the second game. And I started laughing. I'm like, what are you guys complaining about? This is basketball. That's what the fans want to see. The fans want to see you guys go out there and play your games against physicality. Let's see how good you are when guys can put their hands on you, come bumping you a little bit. Let's see what kind of skills you got then. Let's see what happens when the standard gets raised a little bit, when the physical nature of the defense gets raised a little bit. So, yeah, Nick, I think it's good to see some of these teams play physical. Some of these teams, like the Boston Celtics, still wanted to play that 3-point chucking type style of game. And they started to have problems like we saw them against the New York Knicks.
Which is really ironic because I always sort of saw Jaylen Brown as like a physical play, smaller, yes, but he get underneath you, like he's a very physical player, goes to the hole, right? So it's really like when I remember you saying that now, when he came out and said that, I was like, that's a weird angle from Jaylen Brown for me, from what I know of him.
And you're supposed to be the defending champions, and you're complaining about some young team who's done nothing in the NBA. Shout out to the Orlando Magic for going out there and competing that way.
Didn't Anthony Edwards complain about being double teamed earlier in the season? This is the guy that was getting Michael Jordan comparisons.
Was that him, or was that a Ben Simmons thing? No, I remember. Was it Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards, he said something in the playoffs. I remember when, like you said, he was being hounded. And listen, in the postseason, what makes the great players have to elevate themselves is because the other teams can game plan against you from game to game. So, yeah, you might be great in regular season. You might be awesome. But when the postseason comes, the reason why the cream rises often than not is because those guys are able to make the adjustments, not only from game to game, but from quarter to quarter, from play to play. That's what the great players do. You think that Steph Curry and some of these other guys, Kobe Bryant, the Dirk Nowitzki, you think Dirk didn't make adjustments in the 2011 NBA Finals? He had to make adjustments. The thing for LeBron James, he could not make an adjustment in that series. What the Mavericks did to him on a game plan basis, it worked to perfection. He was confused because his overall quote-unquote bag wasn't there.
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody said,
go ahead, sorry.
Somebody said Jim is in the house. I think Jim's busy with Father's Day, but Jim, if you want to call in with one of your special segments, just let me know and I'll send you the link. Go ahead, Nick.
I saw a couple articles. Yeah, earlier in the year, like at the turn of the year, he complained about being double teamed and that he doesn't want to have to pass all night.
Shouldn't you take that as a compliment? Like,
it is. It's a huge compliment, especially in the NBA. Like, if you're so good in the NBA, if you're getting double teamed on a regular basis, I mean, that is a surefire way of saying you're like a top 15 offensive player, right? Like, there is almost no better compliment. What I was thinking of was an old gym clip of Ben Simmons. He was playing some pickup game and he was getting double teamed and complaining. That's Kevin. It was somebody. Kevin Booker. Yes, that's who it was. He was complaining about being double teamed and like literally complaining and crying about it. Like, it was hilarious.
If you're that good, this can't be the first time in your life that you've dealt with being double teamed, and you're supposed to learn how to still be good, incorporate your teammates, or figure out how to get through the double teams. NBA is where you complain about being double teamed.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not what I wanted to talk about. Here's a random thing. You know, LeBron continuing to take random shots at weak people. Brian Windhorst, for example. You know,
low-hanging fruit and shit. And
just because Brian Windhorst said, X's and O's might not be that engaging. But here's my question, and Robin, I want you to answer this in particular. When do they get to X's and O's on there? Like, before I could even talk about how pathetic it is to be attacking Windhorst, what's Windhorst even talking about? All I hear our excuses and therapy sessions about what went wrong and why no one should really look at LeBron's failures with a critical eye. I haven't heard X's and O's on that show. I haven't heard like really intelligent game breakdown, but I also don't listen to the whole thing. Anyone?
Well, real quick, LeBron's the guy who said that today's players, if you simply just want to switch a play, no one knows what to do. If you just want to flop, if you just want to reverse a play, that players get lost, right? So I think you're expecting a little too much.
Well, exactly.
That's a good point, Nick, that you brought up, because remember, LeBron James, it's like he insults his own era, his own contemporaries. Remember, he put that tweet out. Oh, I'm watching NBA League Pass, and my son's better than half the league. Ha 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 ha. So what are you saying? Your league is a joke? That your son, who doesn't even get any burn in college, who wasn't doing anything in college, that dude's better than half your league? That's what we're saying. So then how great is your league really? Come on, no one would dare say that in the 90s or the 80s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Oh, yeah, let's drop some kid who's not even playing in college and he'll be burning half the league. Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense, the thing that this guy does and says about his own league. But then when they say Michael Jordan can average 50 in this era, he gets insulted and offended. Oh, how dare they say that Michael Jordan, that's an offense. How can they say that about everybody else in the league? Blah, blah, blah. Come on, man.
Yeah, real quick, I was going to say, I hate the people, we've had this before about that tweet or what he said about what you're bringing up about, Bronny's better than half the league or whatever. And they always try and like dodge or deflect it. And one thing is like the tweet has two implications here. Either the NBA and the scouts and the front office and the coaches are stupid and they don't know how to judge talent, or they're corrupt and they're like keeping your kid out of it for ulterior reasons that you can't say, but you're hinting at. So which is it? Is it the NBA they're all stupid, they don't know what they're doing, and that's why your kid's not on the people on League Pass or whatever the fuck he was trying to say with that, or they're corrupt and there's other things going on, which still doesn't make sense because Bronny would probably get numbers and tickets a little bit, right, more than just some 12th man on the bench if you wanted to play it that way. But yeah, like I always hated that tweet. Those are the two ways you can take it. I'll let you decide. Whoever wants to defend it.
I don't want to.
No, not us.
Okay. Father's Day. I have a member for 7 months. Thank you for that. Rafflecopter. Father's Day. LeBron fatherless behavior. James can't relate. Yeah, but we want accountability on here. I'm a little bit tired of giving LeBron James a pass for fatherlessness because we have people throughout history who were fatherless who took it upon themselves to turn out great. So I'm just not gonna shit. If anything, LeBron had several different father figures throughout life, and maybe none of them were good, including Delonte.
Yeah, and he seems to be, whether you want to call it helicopter parent or propping his kids up, right? At least he's there around his kids, right? So whatever.
There we go.
Much worse.
Low standards of human beings.
I know.
Raising their children.
Very low minimum, but he cleared it. Okay, so
a billionaire can spare some money to feed his kids.
He goes to his AAU games. Okay, all right. What do you want from the guy?
For himself. Let's be clear. For himself. Put on a dunk show. Oh. Stare down the coaches and make sure they understand without saying anything what's expected, and then come on his podcast and say that he's never been involved. He's never been involved with his kids coaching. He just gets them on. He just makes sure they get on the team, and that the coach is someone who would never ever stand up to him. But other than that, no involvement whatsoever.
Yeah. I never thought about like that from the ref's point of view. That's probably not a lot of fun having LeBron like 10 feet away.
No. This is a guy who's okay with threatening a woman. He'll threaten a little ref as long as the ref is smaller than him.
That's crazy.
Let's be clear. The ref has to be smaller than him, even if he's old. You guys want me to throw up a video? I downloaded that old video I did of LeBron getting away with murdering people.
Do it.
All right.
Is it YouTube friendly?
I didn't superimpose anyone's.
Yeah, don't get us a copyright claim.
Yeah. I mean, let's see if I can find this. Media presentation. Go ahead and keep talking while I
was gonna say I did have one thing
up.
I want to say. We're talking about the double team. Dirk is way underrated for passing out of the double team. He's always been really good at that. I was just gonna say that real quick.
That was
Being
random
7
as hell.
feet helps. Being 7 feet helps, right? Being able to see over the defense, but
You know, there was something that I've noticed, or I wanted to mention that in the video that you did, I was watching this morning, AOH, when you were talking about those fouls, the lack of fouls for LeBron James, and you know how they're always trying to relate Michael Jordan having, you know, getting the referees, you know, in his favor, never getting fouls called against him, and how, oh yeah, Michael Jordan always got the calls, his teams always got the benefit of the doubt, you know, all these kinds of things. And we have to be very clear here, man. All the great players in NBA's history, they get more of a favor than the other players. We get all of that. They get, you know, superstar treatment. But if you really dig into the numbers, if you look into just the numbers of the things, the Chicago Bulls never got an advantage at the free throw line as a team. If you look at the numbers, I'm telling you, go look at the numbers. I've done the research on this stuff. The Bulls actually in the NBA Finals are at negative 67 at the free throw line, which means that they have negative 67.
oh no, did we lose him? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Nick.
Okay, we lost Robin.
We froze you. You froze briefly, Robin.
Sorry, move him or bring him back. Or you'll let him do it.
Yeah. If you want to remove yourself and come back, go ahead. I'm going to read a super chat. Roger Hurt with another super chat. Thank you so much. Much, much appreciated. The X's and O's aren't basketball. It's XOXO hugs and kisses from new head coach Steve Nash. Ant Booker complained about double teams like it's not fair. I just do you guys understand that you're being paid?
Yeah, like you're being paid to play a game here, and the other team will implement strategies in which they will try to affect the best player from not scoring on the other team. You are the best scorer on the other team. They might implement 2 defenders against you at any given moment to try and slow you down. I know this is like really mind-breaking stuff, but it does happen sometimes.
These guys talk like they're just trying to get a coffee. I was just trying to get to the cafe and all these people were mobbing me. You're a good basketball player on a team and the other team doesn't want you to score. What the fuck do you expect?
Yeah, dude, like this isn't the break room at your office like where we all have to be nice to each other, right? Like this is a competitive game of 5-on-5 trying to put a hoop in a basket, man. Like it's not that deep.
Roger Hurt making his voice heard today and blessing us with super chats. LeBron has to celebrate all his daddies today. Jokic, Dirk, Duncan, Pop, Riley, Curry, MJ, AOH, SNFR, and Skip and Bayless. Nick will include you in there too.
I'll take it. Drip Bayless to you.
What? Where's Robin? Robin, call back in, buddy.
Maybe they got him.
Nick, what's the catchiest way to refer to your channel?
Just NNB Sports.
NMB.
NNB, like November, Bravo.
November, Bravo. What's that mean?
That's just my initials.
Oh, well, way to bring it with the creativity there.
Yeah, that was really groundbreaking stuff.
Well, Robin, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to go ahead and play this video. I got to pause it because of the music, but I made this years ago and it got hardly any views. Somebody took my video, the exact video, reposted it, and they got like 3 fucking million views.
Dude, I've seen so much of that. I'm always worried that's going to happen to one of mine one day, but it's whatever.
I don't know what you can do about it.
There's
I gotta pause it again.
Yeah,
Don't want to copyright our live show. But look, I just want everyone to understand that after Jordan gets the living hell shoved out of him with no call, all he does is call for a timeout.
And then he goes down and almost hits the game winner, right? Isn't this the one that?
Yeah, it rims out.
That goes close. Yeah.
So that was he in the press conference. He doesn't complain about the call. He says they still have to come through Chicago, and then he hits the game winner in Chicago. Now here we move to what LeBron gets away with in 2012. Sorry, everyone. I should just turn.
No, see, this is just good physical defense right here. You don't understand.
Oh, my bad. Or as the fanboys would say, "Oh, I thought you guys liked it physical." Yeah, physical and legal.
Yeah.
He continues.
Other arm as well, just for good measure.
And the knee. I mean,
Almost.
He just gets him top to bottom.
Almost nut checks him.
Get ready for it. Look at that. He's got hold of his fucking arm. Yeah, a little bit of a protest. He's like disappointed in the call, but we don't have a LeBron James level antics.
Dude, this is the worst. Yeah, this is just so bad, man. Like every time I kind of just choose to block this out of my memory, but this is just so bad. Oh, go ahead.
Well, he's had quite a few since then, so you
look at him right now. Like even look at him right
now. What the? But then he looks up. He checks himself on the screen. And he rotates his body accordingly.
I can't stop laughing, man. The fist, the double fist, and the anger. You could just see he's so mad. Oh, man.
Robin, where are you, buddy?
That was great. I was dying. That was great.
I hope I didn't get us flagged.
No, I think it would kill the stream, right?
I don't know. Or demonetized at the least. Something else that I heard Robin hint at is not being able to find certain things. And when I'm searching for stuff that I know for a fact LeBron was guilty of, and I type in exactly, LeBron gets posterized by so-and-so or whatever, I swear to God that they return something positive about LeBron James. Like the SEO is actually manipulated to help him.
100%, I believe that. I think, yeah. Well, I think that's just a thing, man. Like, I don't know for sure. Like in my opinion, right, the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, especially in like YouTube terms, there is tons of people. I don't know about tons of people, but there are certain people with their fingers on what gets promoted, what doesn't, what gets monetized, what doesn't, what gets shared around, what gets easily boosted, what doesn't, right? So is that a thing? Like, for sure, I would say it has to at least be a possibility, like 100% that people could possibly, who are friends, who are elites, higher ups in these establishments, they like these parties, they're all part of a clique and a group. Like, hey man, help LeBron out. Like, to think that's like a stretch, I think is more than a possibility, right?
You know what his example was? His example was that he has told YouTube not to recommend Mind the Game, and they keep recommending it anyway. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing, even and ignore your customization. Anyway.
Yeah, and like, it could just be something like, I don't even know how to put it, but LeBron's media team, or even people at Nike, and like, there's just all these people, right, who are friends and whatnot, and to just think that, hey man, LeBron's a good guy, let's boost this and not that, like, that for sure is a thing, I think.
So I have a topic. If people want to call in, we're going to take callers on this Father's Day. A lot of people say when you claim that the other team was mistreated by the refs, a lot of people have bounced back and said, well, they should have made their free throws. They say that a lot about 2002 Western Conference Finals, where it's just one of the worst officiated series ever, clearly handing it to the Lakers, in my opinion, against the Kings. And people say, well, they should have made their free throws. Hey, the Lakers missed free throws too. Everybody misses free throws. I mean, that's part of the game. Just like sometimes you should have shot better. It doesn't excuse bad officiating. I agree. Make your free throws. Damn it. Make your free throws. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and that does not justify bad officiating. While I put the call-in link up, Nick, your response?
I was going to say, and also it's the things like that, like a ref could be calling a foul here and there throughout the game, right? And then of course, when it gets closer, the margin of error, once they do decide to make calls and the game's close, like the margin of error essentially is gone, right? So it takes several forms. It's just the fact that we look at refereeing and we look at what they call and don't call, and it's just very inconsistent, right? And just to be fair, I think refereeing basketball is really hard, but there are some times when they make these calls and you just saw like a possession or two earlier, the exact same thing happen or what have you, and it doesn't get called. It's just sometimes it's very inconsistent, right? That's the best word to put it.
Yeah. LeBron complained about it changing from the regular season to postseason. Well, sometimes it changes from the first half to the second half, which I just call it correctly the whole time so that players don't have to guess. And when players have to guess, then we, the fans, have to guess why the refs are changing it when they're changing it. It starts to become conceivable that you're doing it to extend the series when you're so inconsistent with how your reffing goes. Top Dog wants to call in.
Yo, what is up, guys?
Hello, Top Dog.
Not much. Just watching the live stream with you guys.
What's burning on your mind? Something in particular?
Oh, I'm just, the whole, just this LeBron worship that, goes on, these days. I just don't get it. Like when you look back at LeBron James' history, they always talk about how he's been the best player since the 2000s, how he's like the most popular NBA superstar since the 2000s. And I never really got that because I'm in my 20s right now. And when I was growing up, a lot of people my age never saw LeBron like as this like Michael Jordan-esque dude, if you get what I'm saying. Like when I was growing up, it was Kobe. When you shot the ball in the trash, or you said Kobe, that's what everybody said. Then it changed to Curry, as Kobe started to fade out with the Achilles injury, and he was on the decline. That's what Curry blew up. And then it changed to, you shot the ball and made it. Oh, Curry. People was wearing Under Armour because of Curry. I never really saw LeBron like that. And I've seen other people, even older than me, say that when they were growing up, it was Allen Iverson. like LeBron James, it feels like his popularity has always been manufactured. Can you give me a take on that?
Well, it does. Look, oh man, that Gary video made a very strong point, a very strong stance on how the league did favor LeBron, and we're going to stand behind him no matter what his failures were. And if I've been enjoying looking back at like talk shows from 13 years ago where they were closer to being honest, and they basically were admitting, yeah, LeBron's not the guy, and there's nothing wrong with him going to get some help because he realizes he's not the guy. Well, they had no choice but to shift their attitude toward LeBron James because he wasn't getting it done. Then he goes and he gets the help with the super teams. And then as soon as he wins with those super teams, they shift back to LeBron is the guy and ignore the fact that like he couldn't get it done without being carried. So they definitely manipulated the story that they were telling us. And I couldn't help but think about the people that could have been the next Jordan that didn't work out because of injuries, such as Grant Hill, maybe even a Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Derrick Rose. Yeah, when I was, because I started watching. I'm a young cat here, but I have appreciation for the game. I love 80s and 90s basketball, early 2000s, 70s. I have an appreciation for the game, but I started watching in that late 2000s, early 2010s era. So Derrick Rose, Kobe and Paul Lakers, Big Three Celtics. It was transitioning into what the league is now, where they started to be more about 3-pointers, but it still had like they had the fundamentals, you get what I'm saying? So, and I agree with what you're saying though, because like they were trying to promote LeBron James as like the Michael Jordan of that era, and I just never saw it. Like I said, it was Kobe, even before me in the early 2000s, it was AI with the hip hop. With the hip hop swag and the braids and the tattoos and the and all of that. But LeBron James to me has just never been this dude that like how they say his popularity is, where he's like the Michael Jordan of this era where everybody wants to be him.
So you seem like an anomaly to me. Like you're young and you appreciate the old basketball. You have to have made a considerable effort to do so then. Like you had to go out of your way to go and find some old basketball to watch because it's not what's being fed to you. And a lot of young people were successfully manipulated by the media, and you're not one of them. So you see why I think that you're an anomaly, or maybe there's more of you than I think that there are. Like how do you explain why you're an anomaly?
Well, I think it's like you said, like the media, basically forcing a narrative on people, brainwashing. But also think it's too is that I'm a young person, but I'm not exactly like a teenager, like a middle schooler or high schooler is now. Because like I said, I started watching in that late 2000s, early 2010s era, where they still had the fundamentals. Like you still had the guys from the 2000s. You still had Kobe. You still had Duncan. You still had, he was older and broken down, but you still had Shaq. You still had Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Dirk Nowitzki, D Wade. You still had those guys. It was like a mix of the older guys and the younger guys like LeBron, Curry, Westbrook, and Durant. So I feel like that gives me a perspective on things compared to somebody who started watching in the mid to late 2010s when basically that's really when the curtain era started. It's that mid 2010s era when the Warriors blew up with the 3-point shooting. That's really when it started. I know people say it started in the early 2010s, and in some ways it did with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 and, the Miami Heat. But Curry and the Warriors is really what exploded it. And I think that it always gave me a perspective because if you started watching like 2008, the game in 08 is very different from the game in 2015. If you guys get what I'm saying. So I always felt like that gave me a perspective. Plus, my dad, he grew up in the 80s. So, of course, he's, Magic, Bird, Jordan, the Bad Boy Pistons. So I always love rewatching those with him.
Well, we just got the answer. You mentioned your dad. He had a dad.
basically.
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to put too much. I don't want to put too much on that. But hey, Top Dog, congratulations for not being manipulated, and thank you for the call. I've got Terrence waiting, and we're gonna let Terrence talk here, and then some people in the chat are begging for me to show the SGA travel, so I've got that queued up. Terrence, what's on your mind this morning?
Yeah, what up, AOH? How you doing?
Good day to you.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I don't know. I just came in here. You know, I always try to come in when y'all, when y'all live streaming. I don't know what y'all actually talking about, so if you can give me a little rundown of what y'all talking about real quick.
Well, I tell you what, I'll show this SGA traveling thing, and we will come back to you. And I'm going to remove the sound from this and just skip forward because this is the video that I just posted this morning.
Today I'm going to combine something that I saw on self-researched NBA.
Okay. That's not the one, but there's shove off number one. And
This is shove off number 2.
It is. Okay. Landing foot, drag, step, drag, step. And then look what Jordan gets called for.
Yeah.
Let's rewind SGA here. So, and by the way, I watched this in a bar, so I had the pleasure of not hearing Doris Burke actually praise this. She actually praised this. Oh, thank God I didn't hear that.
Let me watch it one more time.
So that right foot just landed. Left foot's dragging in a step. Right foot steps, drag, and left foot down again.
Well, it would be when he picks the ball up, correct?
Right. So I started it with him picking the ball up.
Well, yeah, rewind it again. So some people would. This is actually a great video of the new argument, right?
See, I don't believe that step after you pick the ball up is a step after you pick the ball up. That's not a gather.
Yeah,
that people have a gather.
People have really extended like the delayed pickup, right? It used to be the delayed pickup, like when you were going to the hole, right? You would dribble, and then it actually, you kind of let the ball sort of almost come next to you, and then you would decide when you picked it up or snatched it, and then it would be a step and a half after that. That's what I always understood it as. And now people are doing whole new things with like this delayed pickup thing of like, well, technically I just bounced the ball and I'm kind of just moving my feet next to the ball. And it's only when I actually gather it, whenever that new kind of whatever we're deciding that is now, then I have a step after that to like gather myself. That's the whole new like argument. That's the whole new thing they're doing now, or kind of where we're at.
Well, one of the themes of this video I made was that they are reinterpreting rules or just not calling things, because you can't go to the rule book and see them actually change it to now you are allowed to do this specifically. They're just allowing people to do things. The other thing you just made me think of is the fact that they're allowed to carry the ball means, oh, well, here's this time in which I'm reestablishing control of the ball with my hand under it, in which I can take another gather step. You know, if you're dribbling correctly, you don't have time to take that extra step. Otherwise, you're carrying in the old school.
And I think we need the gather needs, I think, to also be reinterpreted to the fact that it can be one hand as well, right? Because if I can step back, like the whole thing they're doing now is like the Harden thing, right? He'll take a dribble and it's like this, a step. Have I really picked the ball up yet? And then I'm actually, collecting it and then stepping, right? So that's where this whole translation is getting in the waters, like lost in the murky waters here.
Okay, chats. Who's chatting? Who's voting? Travel or no travel? And
to me, that's a travel. Like we're taking advantage of like the interpretation here, right? You could see it as like this is the game evolving in a way. Some people might argue that, or it's in the rule book and they're getting creative with it. But I don't know. So if we play it one more time, can you play it slow?
I think I've got that. I might have it actually even slower.
So like Jordan would have said he gathered on the 2-step and he hasn't established a pivot foot yet. So he gets to move a foot. Would be Jordan with the same thing. He's kind of delaying.
Here,
so like the argument is, when does he pick it up? I guess he hasn't put his other hand on it yet until like right here.
Are you adding that as a rule?
Well, I mean, it's the rule is like when he picks the ball up, I believe, is when you count the steps. I could be wrong on that, but that's how I interpret the dribble rule.
How about that one?
Do it
he
again.
Gets called for his first step right there.
Oh yeah, they used to be real tight with the ball has to hit the ground before you lift your foot up or put the other foot down. Some kind of rule like that.
I might as well let this play because this LeBron just fucking picks the ball up and changes direction. Shoves the guy out of the way.
Run to the hole.
He just looks like he's planning on killing somebody. Get the fuck out of here. No one's allowed to play.
That one's atrocious.
He's cupping the ball here too, after he already picked it up once. Look at him staring at the ball, Mr. Bag, and grab it with 2 hands. Yeah, I mean, if we're going by the rules, Michael Jordan did travel. If the rule is that the ball has to hit the ground before your first step comes down, that's a travel. Now, here's the real question. How different is that from today, where they take like 2 steps before the first dribble and then 3 steps between dribbles and then 4 steps after they've officially picked it up?
Of course. Yeah, of course. One thing, well, and also, in my opinion, where this all starts or why they're getting away with these sort of traveling and extra steps is because they got so lenient with the palming of the basketball.
Yeah.
They got so lenient with that to where you see guys all the time with their hand like 3/4 or almost completely underneath the ball, almost for like an eye blink or two, and then they go back, and that is where we're now getting away from what is a pickup dribble. When do you establish that you have stopped your dribble, right? If they're allowed to get away with this, well, I mean, you're never going to be able to tell. They're going to get away with murder like we're seeing.
All right. Terrence, for future reference, better if you hear the beginning of the show and know exactly what you want to say, but we'll give you another try and see if you want to comment on traveling.
Here you go. This is the rule, AOH, which will prove you would prove me right, and you would be proven right. A player cannot take more than a step and a half without dribbling the ball. So yes, there you go. You're supposed to have a step and a half, but if you dribble step and a half, collect, and then step and a half, you can't do that.
Where are you reading this?
I was just I just sports rec some website, the official rules of basketball.
Well, be careful because anyone and their dog can put up what they think.
Yeah, but I understand the dribbling rules to be that. Let me look up the official rules.
What's a half? Explain to me what a half is.
So again, it's called like the delayed pickup, right? It's like when I go to dribble a ball, when I pick it up is a gray area, right? So once I pick it up, that would be considered the half step, and then I get one more step to establish the pivot foot. Is how I've always understood the official rule.
No, if you stopped dribbling, you picked up your dribble. I mean, if it was your last dribble, then I count it when you began to gain control of the ball, which is at the beginning of the process. Your hand doesn't have to be under it for you to have just now started to end your dribble. You ended your dribble when you decided that your dribble was done and you were going to collect the ball.
That's the gray area that people are arguing right now. Like, when is that? When is that time?
And it's silly enough to argue that, but here's the thing. We're talking about guys taking another 3 steps after that one. So it's still not even
so in the interpretation of that rule, you cannot take a dribble and sort of let the ball hang there and take 2-3 steps and then collect it and then get to your step and a half, right? So that's what I'm saying. You're right. You can't, once you've sort of taken a step or two without collecting the ball, like you have to either pick it up and stop, or I guess you let it go. I'm not sure. They need to be a little more clear on that, I guess.
Well, this lack of clarity.
LeBron James crab dribble.
Yeah, the crab fucking dribble.
There you go. That's the name, I guess.
This confusion, like you and I actually debating something that really shouldn't have this much room for interpretation, is carried on to the pickup court, where half the time the game is stopped because people are arguing their own interpretation of the rule. We should just know what the rule is. I don't like that there's this gray area now. Terrence, go ahead. Tell us what's on your mind.
Like I was just saying, like that whole LeBron James crab dribble. It felt like ever since he, started doing stuff like that, him, James Harden, certain players, they just really just messed the game up to where, like you say, it's unwatchable. You don't even know half the time. Half the time they don't even call half of this stuff, and then they call the travels that aren't even really travels. I'm like, wait, what? You couldn't call that, but you didn't call that, like. And I just can't. Like I said, I barely watched the game. Like, I've been watching a little bit of this Indiana, Oklahoma, since they're different teams. But other than that, I cannot bring myself to watch basketball like I used to. Like, we used to have parties at people's houses.
Yeah,
we knew where to go to. Everybody was watching the games and stuff. And now it's like nobody's like, hey man, you watching the game? You doing this? No. Like, you see, what they say that this is the finals. This final series is like ain't even getting that much watch or play because you first of all, you can barely even watch it anywhere. I don't even know what I need to watch it on. Really, most of the games, like I just have to catch it or something, and you can't.
Well, it's on ESPN.
The NBA. Yeah, it's on ESPN.
By the way, ESPN, their halftime show is showing one play in super slow motion, playing some music over it, and then cutting back to commercial. And then they come back from commercial and play one more super slow-mo highlight talking at it, and then go back to commercial. I keep thinking, are we going to come back and actually hear some analysis? No, they just kept doing that over and over again. Like, they put no effort into it, it seems like.
Hey, let me say one thing about LeBron James real quick that because I've been waiting to talk to you about this. Because this one really bothers me, especially even on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith and all these people, even like at my job or people I talk to on the daily. Why is it because I'm black, I have to like LeBron James? Like,
I had a guy tell me that I couldn't comment on LeBron because I was white.
Yeah, and people say that type of stuff all the time. Like the same thing with LeBron. They're like, man, you should be proud that a black man got another black, got his son. If you was that, would you do the same thing for your son? You're black. You should want to do these things. I'm like, if it's not right, it's not right. He's not good. He's not good. Like, what are we coming to? Like just because he's black and I'm black.
If you suppress somebody's opinion using color as the rule set, what is that if not racism? Oh, we're gonna
there's just no point in. I'm not really getting everyone's point of view. Like, it's just stupid. Like, it's just
how does
we're not even really having a conversation there.
Yeah.
And isn't it?
Yeah, how does Stephen A. Smith get away with that every time on ESPN? He's always bringing that up, talking about LeBron James, who is a black man, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what does this have to do? Y'all making it look, man. Y'all making, to me, I feel like y'all making black people look bad. Because every time something happens, even Angel Reese, that really kills me. Like, she shouldn't even be in a conversation with Caitlin Clark. And they're talking about, oh, yeah, she's a phenomenal black girl. And she's trash. I don't care if she's black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican. Angel Reese is trash. She ain't nowhere near Caitlin Clark. They're saying people like her because she's white. No, it's because she plays like she's like Stephen Curry, basically a female version of Stephen Curry. Like, isn't
the big picture goal for everybody, no matter what your ethnicity, not to be concerned about the color of the other person?
The color.
Like, shouldn't we just be working to leave it out of the conversation?
And like, not even that, but like Caitlin Clark, has earned all those people, or will eventually will have exponentially earned so many people so much more money in the WNBA, a lot of black women included. I just don't get it. Like, even if you are racially conscious, whatever you want to call it, she still is doing great things for your people in a way. Like, it just all around is a stupid play. It's not a good look. It's just really bad investment, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't make any sense from any point of view.
You know what? It's easy pickings. It gets people emotional, and people tune in based on emotion now instead of the actual quality of the game. Like, I really avoid Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese as much as I possibly can, because I think it's just, I mean, they're just trying to bait you into caring for the wrong reasons, aren't they?
Yeah, like Rick Smith's complaining about Michael Jordan because he's black, while Michael Jordan is like taking the league to like extraordinary heights. You know, it's like, what are you mad at, dude? He's bringing you with him.
Well, it's pretty convenient that you, Nick, you're not allowed to have your anti-LeBron opinion because you're white, and Terrence, you're not allowed to have your anti-LeBron opinion because you're black.
Yeah, basically the same thing. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a good plan right there.
That works out well.
That
for
is crazy.
Yeah.
And then did y'all? I know y'all. I think y'all talked about it. I don't know if y'all did, but yeah, like the thing with that Ryan Clark and RG3 a while back. Did y'all hear about that? Right?
That was someone had a white wife, so their opinion doesn't count. RG3, that's what it was. Yeah,
he told Ryan Clark told RG3 that he was not allowed to have an opinion on Caitlin Clark on Angel Reese because he has a white wife and does not deal with black females on the daily. And I'm like,
that's crazy.
Isn't his mom black?
That's crazy work.
Isn't he black? Like, what does it matter? The partner that you have to speak on, you're talking about sports. So now I just can't talk about black female, like me being black. I can't talk about white females, like if they are good or trash because I'm black. Like that makes no sense to me. So
the real tragedy is people are thinking what they're thinking, and now all you're really doing is being trained to do some word magic in your head before you deliver your thoughts because of this fake value.
It's fake outrage.
Yeah. I thought racism died like a long time ago. Like it seemed like, you know, back when none of us have really went through racism like that. Like, you know, especially the younger generation. Like, yeah, you might have somebody get a job over you because of who they know or who their parents is. That happens all the time. But like, I don't think that, you know, I think racism is even worse now with social media because everybody has their own opinion, but nobody wants to listen to nobody's opinion. Everybody wants to downplay somebody else. Especially like with the LeBron James thing. You can't, I don't know. I can't wait till he retires because he's made the league unwatchable. His antics, him off the court is worse than him on the court.
I was about to say, careful what you wish for. Like him retiring, at first I agreed with you, but then I was like, man, him retiring might actually be worse. He might have a lot more free time on his hands. We'll see. Maybe.
But look, if he retires,
I don't think he will just walk off into the sunset. He won't. But I am hoping he finds something to do that is not political in nature, right? That hopefully passes his time.
But look, I feel like he had a lot of people sign NDAs or something because a lot of people, I know they can't wait to talk about him because a lot of people don't say nothing. Then you got, like you said, you got Reggie Miller, you got Richard Jefferson, you got these people that just, oh my God. Like I say, like, you know how you're not allowed to talk about Jordan? I mean, people are like, oh man, the only thing people do is have to say Jordan to bring LeBron down. You know what I'm saying? But that's all y'all do. All the LeBron fans do. Every time somebody say something, LeBron can't do this. Oh, Jordan couldn't do this. Jordan couldn't do that. We didn't even say nothing about Jordan. Y'all brung up Jordan. That's the whole reason why we having this discussion. Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Imports.
We done with the 90s. We done with the 90s was all because of Jordan. It was just a second layer to the Jordan hate. It was just another avenue for them to try and do it.
Import says LeBron's retirement tour will just be insufferable, just painful. I can't even imagine what that's going to be like. Like, I feel like we've been on a retirement tour for quite some time. They've been.
LeBron James gonna be like, he gonna be like, when I retired, that's what made me the greatest player of all time.
My retirement tour, that's what put me over the top. I'll tell you what, it'd be funny if we also had a LeBron James countdown retirement tour, but like we were excited about it. Like we were like, yes, one less game. Here we go.
King Speech.
Yeah.
We got four people on the panel at once. King Speech, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
What up?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, bro.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, I've been tumbling with LeBron fans all week, and what y'all just said about bringing up Jordan. Like the fact that they bring up Jordan in every little discussion tells you what the standard is. And I tell it all the time. I say it all the time. Like his standard was so immaculate that you guys know that you have to reduce it for LeBron to get on that level. And that's the problem. That's where all these crazy arguments and we done with the 90s and all that come in, and they do so much of they tell half truths, right? Of course, we know 1 and 9 Scottie Pippen, right? You have to remind them that Scottie Pippen didn't even average double digits. He wasn't even an all rookie in a weak rookie class. I mean, all of that stuff. And it really is crazy. I brought up the stat that Luka had 3 30-point games in the first round this year, the 5 games he played with LeBron. Yeah. And Scottie had 6 30-point games in his whole entire playoff career. You know, then they'll tell you, oh, well, what about the defense? Wow. Okay, well, yeah, okay, he played defense. But Luka's not a one-dimensional player either, right? So it's just, I mean, that's the only elite scoring help Jordan had. Like, no, you weren't getting 30 out of BJ. You weren't getting 30 out of Grant like that, you know? So it's,
I don't believe for a second LeBron didn't know about the trade. I don't believe that at all. For not even half a second.
No,
of course. And I've always told Brian.
Choosing. That's his picking, you know. So when it doesn't work out, you know, that he gets at least half the blame, I would say.
Oh yeah. I didn't see, what did Magic say? I'm gonna watch that Magic interview with Stephen A. Smith, because it seemed like Magic gave a warning to Luka like he always does, like he did to AD. Like, you know, this is the Lakers way, as if to say that them losing was his fault when it was LeBron who shot 9 of 27 in the fourth quarters, right? Magic is my favorite player of all time, but he is such a schmuck sometimes when it comes down to it. I didn't watch it. I just saw the headline. So I'm going to actually watch what he said. But I mean, like, this is Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is second all time in playoff scoring. And he scored 30. He scored 3 of the games, right? I think one game he had 38, 28 in the fourth game. And that other game when he had the food poisoning and was sick or whatever. Like, what are you doing? Because Luka ain't guaranteed to sign in that extension. And if I was him, I'm looking at the LA situation. Why would I want to be here long term? To get none of the credit, always be compared to LeBron, who, got out the first round twice in 7 years. This is the guy I'm compared to.
See, this is where you start to worry about what's happening behind the scenes, because I can't even understand why Luka would go on the podcast after Luka got blamed for everything. LeBron didn't stand up for him. LeBron turns around and says, it's not my responsibility to talk Luka into staying. Kind of sounds like he doesn't give a shit if he stays or goes. And hey, come on to my podcast and be part of the therapy session. And he did it. And so how do you explain that? And
I think Luka's
Nick is a Mavericks guy, so Nick can tell us all day of watching Luka Magic. And Nick, you've been gone for so long. I don't think I ever heard your raw reaction to watching Luka go from one of the greatest to being yet another scapegoat, taking the blame for everything. I mean, just like that. I mean, how much evidence do we need, people?
So bittersweet too, because I still really want to root for Luka, and he plays with LeBron, and I'm just like, oh man, like what do I do here? You know, so like I'm hoping he leaves the Lakers or those two split, because I can't take the pill pull back and forth.
Luka gives me the I just want to play basketball and count my money vibe sometimes. Like, and then you know, You know, and then he comes on the Mind the Blame podcast, and he gives this what is bag? What is bag? What is this bag you talking about?
And he's one thing I left out when I broke that down was I never heard that since second grade, and then he cuts himself off and says, I didn't hear that until I got to the NBA. Well, how many years ago was that, Nick? When did the Mavericks get Luka?
Was that
2018?
2018.
Okay. That's more than enough time for you to have digested the meaning of a bag and been ready in your 2025 podcast.
All-NBA.
see, for them, bag is just regular everyday basketball skills. Like, right? That's just a go-to move, something that LeBron knows nothing about. You know, because he's never had to improve the skill. You know, just duck my head down, drive to the basket, do a little spin. Maybe that spin move is his bag, right? That's the one little thing when he spins in the lane. But, you know, again,
his pace changing, getting him on his back.
Yeah. Crab dribble.
I got a question for the viewers, because I think Luka was just about as close to as extreme as it could get to take a superstar and trash him. Who would have been more extreme? Take Jokic from the MVP talks, from being called maybe the best player in the league, Giannis, and then put those people on the Lakers and then just blame them for everything. Like who's a more extreme example other than Luka to just take them from the top and throw them in the cellar?
I think it's those two, because maybe KD. Those are the only people that are better than you could say arguably better than Luka right now. And again, they're gonna hypnotize I'm really disappointed. He's been here 7 years, and I could see that there's no real sports media in LA, because if there were real basketball heads, LeBron would have been like in New York. There's real sweet, like you was talking about Craig Carton. Craig Carton is a New York, WFAN sports guy, right? This is what we do here. We don't, Jalen Brunson is catching it right now. There's nobody above criticism. Aaron Judge he's hitting 400 right now. He's going to do it in the playoffs. No one is above criticism. LeBron is taking that team out of the first round 2 times in 7 years. 80's not there to take the blame this year. You understand what I'm saying? And obviously, look, when the Phoenix after the championship, right? When they lost to Phoenix, it was 80 that went down. That's the reason why they got their doors blown off in the last 3 games. You understand what I'm saying? When will they sit there and realize it's the way this guy plays? It's the way he makes no one better, plays one side of the ball. I mean, and then when I was looking at the Dangerous Production video, and they were showing that the 2018 team, right? The young guys, they were there. Zubac, like, what are you doing in the playoffs this year? Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, he can't stay healthy. But Lonzo Ball's looking like a player that's going to be coveted. All of those players that were there, you had a team that you could play with if you actually, waited and let these guys develop. And now you're sitting there with Rui Hachimura making Rudy Gobert look like Wilt Chamberlain, the same Rudy Gobert who averaged 5 and 6 in the conference finals. At what point do we realize this guy is toxic?
I don't know how LeBron fans brag about LeBron playing the 5 when the game that LeBron played the 5 was Rudy Gobert's come out game.
Mm-hmm.
Say thank you, LeBron.
Rudy Gobert's come out game.
Thank you. Thank you,
You know what I noticed? Remember back in the Orlando 09 series, they brag about him going 38, 8-8, right? But still losing to Dwight Howard and not even Jameer Nelson, was Skip to Malou and Hito Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis. LeBron actually did try to guard Dwight Howard at the end of that series, and Dwight Howard dunked on him. I mean, I don't remember watching too much of that series, and I remember thinking that Cleveland should have won. But not only that, LeBron was, again, terrible in the fourth quarters of the last 3 games, which were the crucial games where they blew that series. This goes to show you, it was almost like, okay, Wilt Chamberlain is my second all-time GOAT. right? Wilt Chamberlain, the thing about Wilt Chamberlain is, if we understand it, when he won his 2 championships, he changed his style up. He stopped scoring so much. He concentrated more on rebounding, defense, and facilitating. He changed his game up. Early in his career, the story went, well, I got my 50. I got 65. Right. Why did we lose?
Right.
Well, because, it's the numbers don't matter. It's what you do in the fourth quarter and in the clutch of these games that matters. And he started to realize, hey, pace yourself. You don't need to score 40. You need to be available in clutch in the fourth quarter. If you need to play defense, that's what you need to do. If you need to facilitate, be like Magic Johnson. Dominate the game without taking 25 shots. You understand?
Let's see. Where is it? This is what happens when I take it off the screen. But I don't think it wasn't Import. Who was it? Pointed out that Anthony Davis, also, a top 3 two-way player, gets trashed. Unappreciated, gets trashed. We saw firsthand the problem with AD not being down there in the paint, going up against the Timberwolves, and nobody's acknowledging that somehow. That almost seems impossible to not be acknowledging that we're watching the problem. And we got some people that are remembering Dwight Howard without Jameer Nelson handling LeBron James.
Yep. And even LeBron admitted, because LeBron fans will say, oh, no, it's not his fault. Blah, blah, blah. He had his numbers. But LeBron said, I messed up. See, again, LeBron
that's the time. That's the one time.
The one time. Yeah.
Right.
Boy, that danger, like, it really broke. I love that they came out with another video because they really broke. They got so much to react to there. I mean, again, 7 letdowns, the 7 meltdowns, the letdowns were the two times when you had because people don't even realize when he went to LA the first year, they were 4th favorite to win win it all. And they didn't even make the playoffs. They were the 10th. They were the 11th seed, actually. They were behind Sacramento. And I remember the Clippers making the 8th seed that year. And the Clippers had traded Tobias Harris, who was their leading scorer. And they still made the playoffs. Meanwhile, LeBron, remember, he had the groin injury. But he came back. I'm going to turn on playoff mode. And went 2-12 or something like that. And not only that, they lost against the teams that were tanking. I remember my Knicks were tanking for Zion that year. He lost to the Knicks when Mario Hezonja blocked the shot at the buzzer. That weak fadeaway. Again, no bag.
I'm going to acknowledge Game Dog really quick because I feel similar. It's unfortunate that the finals, and listen, there are flaws with this year's finals, but they're pretty hard-fought games. I find the matchup somewhat fairly compelling. You guys, and you're a Dallas guy, Nick.
Yeah, Dallas came in on fumes last year, and it was definitely
a better finals than last year. You agree that?
Yeah, 100%.
Much better.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the most evenly matched finals. I'm trying to think. The Golden State won with Boston. Boston couldn't shoot back then. 21 was kind of decent with Giannis against Phoenix. It's probably the best one since that. Well, no, actually probably better than that one because it's really evenly matched. I'm trying to think maybe Golden State, Toronto.
Seeing Giannis beat Phoenix was I just hate Devin Booker. So for me, that was nice.
I got you. I'm not a fan of his either. They talking about him being traded my way. Hell no, I'm good. Yeah. And thank God Kevin Durant took my team off his list as well. But no, this is a great. And I said this. I made a video saying, the casuals are not gonna like this series, but basketball fans are gonna love this series because it's a classic style. 2 teams that almost mirror each other. One got more of the scoring guard, one got more of the facilitating guard. But they get up and down. It's a real heavyweight fight, this one. And, it doesn't surprise me that we're 2-2 at this point. I still got OKC winning the next 2, though. So,
gentlemen, I have a big day of editing my reaction to Danger Productions.
Get on that, bro.
I've been taking my time. I've been taking my time on it because that's a masterpiece, and I'm not gonna just fuck it up. So
I might. Me and my partner might try to do a live react to that. We just should have just play it and just because I'm real good. I know you're great with I'm real good at just scoring off the cuff, man.
Yeah, I was tempted. I was like, you know what? This is so good. Maybe I don't need to put more work into it. and I'll just react live, or maybe it deserves more work. Let me shout out Count Kilroy Graph coming through with a super chat here at the end of the show. LeBron seriously using the "it's not the size, it's how you use it" defense to excuse his fun size candy bar wrapper size bag. Ooh, ouch.
Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. You know, here in New York, we use paper bags. They outlawed plastic bags. It's, you know, you gotta have plastic or reusable. So he has the paper bag on a rainy day. You know, half your stuff will be on the floor by the time you get home.
Hey, good luck for you. Good. I mean, congrats if that's actually still working. I think San Francisco banned them in 2012, and nothing changed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's still, you can still get it from restaurants and stuff, but yeah, we just use either you gotta get a reusable bag to the store, they give you the paper bags, and you know, they're no good yet.
Oh, the hardships of human beings. Everybody,
happy Father's Day, fellas.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah,
Thanks for tuning in,
everybody.
Nick. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Haas, stop showing up at the end of the show. We could have used you earlier, buddy.
All right.
All right, everybody.